Locho sambo pagyo trashi pa tuche tempe trinle yarngoda pege drolo zambe zebrache pande lame shabla solvade Omo a guru vajra dara sumati munisha sane karp Uta vardani shri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Oma Guru Vajradhara Sumati Munisha Sane Karm Uta Vardani Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Oma Guru Vajradhara Sumati Munisha Sane Karm Uta Vardani Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Oma Guru Vajradhara Sumati Munisha Sane Karm Uta Vardani Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Oma Guru Vajradhara Sumati Munisha Sane Karp Uta Vardani Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Oma Guru Vajradhara Sumati Munisha Shri Bhadra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Dagi Jetsun Lama Tuje Che Nyamda Dala Tuje Sikso So Gebe Shesan Dala Tendo So Uyon Sunge Nawa Tsedo So Teje Ningne Sowa Debe Tse Tejen Korlo Vesu Lekshune Ila Sambe Dede Malupa Geme Lunge Rubra Jingelo Tonyi Sodan Dikdun Shabe Tse Dunge Namge Yinsu Lekshune Labchen Sonyi Yonsu Zobadan Cherani Dun Changra Jingelo Chancho Parge Ninsen Tugun To Niu Peme Siru Lekshune Chancho Drube Gegen Kunshishi Tungen De La Drubra Jingelo Dagi Lona Chola Chopadan Chemin Samchor Ngemba Shiwadan Chedan Timbe Dede Malupa Beme Lungi Drubra Jingelo Dorna Tingne Tserab Tamchedan Teche Pardo Nekab Tamchetu Rese Kyamne Lama Keleme Tuche Chinge Dala Siksosto Gongyab Drewe Nyamda Dacha La Jetsun Lame Tuche Rabgongne Kudan Sunge Nawa Drame Tu Nyamsu Nyongwe Kesan Tobrasho Kewa Kundu Yanda Lama Dan Drame Cheki Pela Lomchech Sada Lamge Yonde Rabzone Dorje Change Koba Nyur Tobe Shu Pakyuke Kudan Dagi Lo Pakyuke Sundan Dagi Tudan Dagi Ten Yerme Chiktu Chingi Lo Makyuke Kudan Dagi Lo Makyuke Sundan Dagi Makyuke Tudan Dagi Ten Yerme Chiktu Chingi Lo Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Sangye Chedam Soge Chanam La Chancho Pardo Dani Kepsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamgi Drola Pinchire Sangye Drupar Sho Sangye chedan soge chonamla jancho pardo dani kepsu chen dage jinso gibe sonamge rola penchire sangye druparsho Sangye chedan soge chonamla jancho pardo dani kepsu chen dage jinso gibe sonamge Rola Pinchara Sangye Druparashu. In the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I take refuge unto enlightenment through the practice of generosity and the other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. There is something, in a way, very simple that is part of the very beginning of teachings, but very fundamental and important in our own path, which we talked about it in the very beginning of these teachings, 10, 15 days ago, whenever it was. I'd like just to remember us once again about it. And I think this is something that makes a big difference. We were talking about this when talking about how to rely correctly upon the Guru and about refuge. And the point is the following. It is said that whenever we receive a teaching, whenever we read the Dharma book, whenever we go in contact with the Dharma itself, we should do it having what we call Dusha Druktem, which means having the 6 awareness, or the 6 discernments as we follow. And they look initially quite simple, but they are so important for us through the whole of our path. The first one, it is that to say, we need to see ourselves as the patient. We need to see the teacher as the doctor. We need to see the Dharma as the medicine. We need to see that we have the potential of healing ourselves. We need to see that the process of healing is by taking the medicine. And the last one, but not least, is that the process of healing is long and gradual. So these are the 6 points. I am the patient, the Guru, Buddha is the doctor, the Dharma is the medicine. The process of healing is by taking the medicine. I have the potential to be cured. And the process of healing is a gradual process, not something immediate. Okay? If we do this, it makes a big difference in our lives, because instead of relating to the Dharma as something that, okay, it's nice, sure. But really, really, why do we practice Dharma? What's the true reason behind it? Because we want to be happy. That's the true reason. Okay. Then, hopefully, some of us have reached the point that we practice the Dharma not because we want to be happy, but because we want to reach enlightenment for the benefit of others. Okay. Maybe some of us, we got to that point where we have deeply understood that selfishly speaking, it's better to be altruistic, and that finally we end up by really having true love and compassion towards others. So we practice Dharma because we want to develop our qualities fully in order to help others. Hopefully some of us have reached that state. But most of us, I believe, I'm sorry if I'm very direct somehow, even though we are part of the teachings of the Mahayana, deep within, what's the main reason why we practice Dharma? Is it for the benefit of all sentient beings? Or is it because we want to be happy? I think it's like, mostly it's because we want to be happy. Mostly it's because we want to avoid our own suffering. And we find in Dharma, which is a true antidote for suffering. We find comfort. We find answers. We find a way that helps, a method that helps us. It is a true one. And it's okay. It is like this. It's fine. So within this context, sure, gradually we should develop great love and compassion towards others. That's the process that we should go. But still, it's very important for us to have clarity that I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Sangha, because I am the patient. There is something that I need to change. So I'm not here because I'm going to be part of a group. I'm not here because there is something nice for me to see. I'm here because there is something that I want to change in myself. That ultimately is called ignorance, that we were talking yesterday. Then ignorance is creating a whole process. The problem is that once we have ignorance, it naturally will create one, how do you call it in English? Or like domino effect. One falling on the other. Going. It naturally will happen. Out of ignorance, there will be action. Out of action, there will be karma. I plant the seed in my consciousness. Sooner or later, this will manifest its results in a psychophysical state, name and form, from which I will get the 5 senses, 6 senses. From the senses I get contact, from the contact I get sensation. From sensation, what I get? Craving. From craving, grasping. Grasping, becoming. From becoming, birth. From birth, aging and death. And it's inevitable. And how is all this process happening? Through birth, aging, sickness, death. Rebirth, aging, sickness, death. Rebirth, aging, sickness, death. This is the process how it all happened. And this is all coming from where? From ignorance. It's like in the moment that there is ignorance, inevitably, there will be a lot of results, because inevitably we start acting out of ignorance. That we create causes from which we get results. How do we react towards such results? With more ignorance and more attachment and more hatred and aversion and so on. So we enter into this vortex, into this cycle, which is known by as samsara. Samsara basically means cycle, literally. Okay? So where is all this coming from? Coming from ignorance. So when we say, I am the patient, it's not like, oh, okay, because it doesn't mean I am depressed and I am very bad. That's not the point. I am the patient because I have ignorance, because I grasp at reality as if it was solid, inherently existent. And as a result of that, I have selfishness, I have attachment, jealousy, pride, miserliness, and all the rest, and finally I suffer. That's what we mean, I am the patient. It's like if I go to Buddha and I say, Buddha, I have some symptoms. Could you help me to have the right diagnosis? And Buddha say, oh, please, can you tell me your symptoms? I say, oh, I have a lot of insatisfaction. I try to be happy since I was born, since I have memory of myself. And I tried in so many ways, and it's always something that momentarily it's okay, then finally it's not good anymore, and I need to do something more here, something more there. It's never ending, this whole process of trying to be happy. And then I get angry, and then I have sadness, and then I have this, and I have that, and all these problems. Then Buddha looked to us and said, you are sick. Oh, what's the name of my sickness? We like having names for sickness. What's the name of your sickness? I said, oh, it's actually quite a common sickness. The sickness name is called selfishness. The obsession of self-gratification. And where is the sickness coming from? Oh, it's coming from a virus. The name of this virus is called ignorance. So there are many things that we can do right now to make the sickness a little bit weaker. We can make the sickness weaker, but we need to take care of the virus. Otherwise, the sickness is coming back again and again. So we need to develop patience, we need to develop generosity, love, compassion, all of this, which makes the sickness of selfishness weaker. But we must develop wisdom to go against the actual virus that is ignorance. Okay? So I am the patient. And I don't want to be sick. I don't want to continue to be sick. I am way too tired of being selfish. I really, if it worked, wonderful, but it doesn't.
Finally, I'm here, selfish, thinking only about the I and the my. Remember always that the my is an extension of the I. Like when someone comes to me and say, I'm not selfish, my daughter and my son are more important to me than myself. Sure, your daughter and your son. My is always an extension of I. So, it's tiring. Out of selfishness, what we do? We relate to everyone into categories, which is friend and enemy, according if the person is good to us, it's our friend, if it's bad to us, it's our enemy. And we're always changing enemies and friends because people change. And then, to those that have something more than me, I have envy. To those that are on the same level, I want to compete with them. To those that have less, I feel arrogant. It's very tough. Would it bring a reward of happiness? Wonderful, but it doesn't. So it's like going to Buddha and say, yes, I am sick, but I really don't want anymore to be sick. I really don't want anymore. Help me. Then the doctor said, yes, I can help. But it's not going to be so easy. It's a long process because a chronic disease is what you have. Being a chronic disease is not like, okay, there is no surgery. There is no taking one pill and everything is gone. There is changing your diet, doing exercise, changing your lifestyle, changing your behavior, taking some medicine, then you will change. You'll be able to cure yourself. Yes, I want. Okay. So here God's called the Dharma. So the Dharma is basically, the medicine is basically doing things to love oneself, love others, develop a correct view of reality. And we do that basically through three main methods of healing, which is called morality, concentration, and wisdom. And through this process, gradually we are able to develop. There are many things that we do on this process of healing. But I can get cured because myself, my mind, I am interdependent. That's the only reason why I can get changed myself, really. Because I myself, I am interdependent. I do not exist inherently as an ignorant, selfish person. I am interdependently ignorant, interdependently selfish. That's why every action I do will interact with myself and a difference can be made. Change is possible. So because I am interdependent, I can stop being selfish. I can develop true love and compassion towards others. I can develop true wisdom. Why? Because I am interdependent. So I can become a Buddha. I can eliminate my ignorance. It's possible. But the process of healing is a gradual process. No one reached enlightenment like this. No one, ever. Sure, we like so much the stories of those that reached enlightenment in 3 years' time, no? Okay, oh, that's possible. When can I start counting? But when we look to the stories of those that reached enlightenment in 3 years' time, it meant, yes, I truly believe it's possible, dedicating 24/7, full-time, full dedication for meditation and practice. Then it's possible, with the right conditions, which are very rare. It can be in 3 years, 12 years, one lifetime, it's possible, but it requires full-time dedication, not like once a week, 1 hour a day. When you look at Milarepa, how many hours Milarepa used to dedicate to his practice? Every moment, every minute, day and night. So it's possible, but it takes, not easy, but otherwise, normally the process of enlightenment, it's gradual, take time, and that's okay. Anyhow, we need to live, no? Better to live our life going on the right direction than going on the wrong direction, even though it's slow. Even though it's very slow, but it's better to be on a good direction than on a bad direction. It's better gradually to familiarize our mind with positive things than negative ones. So, process of healing, it's gradual. It's so important for us to know that. Otherwise, after 10 years doing the Dharma, we say, oh, but I have not changed anything. What's the point of doing all of this? Which is not true most of the times. We have changed. But we have not become a Buddha yet, no? Like when people complain about Buddhists, saying, oh, but these people, you are supposed to be Buddhist. How can you act like this? And I always remember, you are correct. They are Buddhists. They are not Buddhas. We are Buddhists means we want to become a Buddha. That's why we still have anger, jealousy, pride, miserliness, and so on. If we were already being a Buddhist, doesn't mean being a Buddha. It means being on the path, accepting our own limits, accepting our own faults, and being on the path too. Okay? So remember to see ourselves as the patient, to see the Guru, Buddha, as the doctor, to see the Dharma as the medicine. This, the process of healing starts by taking the medicine. I can receive thousands of teachings. If I do not put them into practice, if I do not sit to meditate, if I do not apply them into my mind and my action, nothing will change. Like going to the doctor and having the best prescription and never taking the medicine or doing the exercise. Things will not change. And the next point is, I have the possibility to get cured. I have the potential of healing. And sixth, the process of healing is a gradual process. And it may take time. So we know, so we do slowly, step by step, and we rejoice by every step we do. Okay. So, what I'm doing actually is also trying to make, and how to say, and condensing the meaning of many questions together, because if we today start reading the questions, then we'll get maybe two questions or one question. So I know more or less the meaning, the flow of the questions, so I'm just trying to go through that together. One important thing here also is that the practice of Dharma is not linear. The practice of Dharma is not like a direct line, which means I do one thing, then after this I do the second step, then after I do the third step, then after I do the fourth step, and like this I go on and on and on. And what I have done before, I don't need to repeat again. So I did already self-healing. Now what's the practice I need to do? It's not like that. The spiritual path is like a spiral, where we turn around and around, and we do the same thing endless numbers of times, thousands and thousands of times. And if we look from above, it may look we are exactly in the same place, we are never moving. When we look from the sides, we can see that slowly, slowly we are going up, if we are turning on the right direction, right? As I suppose we should. So then, slowly, slowly we look, we are going up. If we look from above, it looks like we are in the same place. But actually, we are not. Actually, we are moving. For example, if we take, for instance, the practice of self-healing, many of us do this practice. The way when I do the practice today, or when I did the practice 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever. From the point of view of the mantras and the mudras and so on, is it the same practice? Yeah, I'm not using any other booklet or any other technique. It's the same thing I started to do 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whenever. From my experience and as a practice of meditation, is it when I do self-healing now, is it the same as it was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Not at all. Slowly, slowly, by repeating it again and again, slowly, slowly it becomes deeper and more meaningful, more tasteful as we go. So the process of the practice of Dharma, you need to remember, is like in a spiral, like repeating again and again, and slowly, slowly we get deeper, and then slowly, slowly we grow spiritually, one step after the other. Okay? This is a very important point. So, talking about this, we have completed the part here which regards renunciation, loving ourselves, which means to develop the true determination, I want to get out of samsara. But the next part, which is very important, which is the next part of the medicine, this next phase of treatment, is to develop love towards others. Okay? And then, this is something that it's very, very important, and we know about it, because if we look around us, okay, this is my own personal theory, so it can be right or it can be wrong, but if someone proves me the opposite, I believe it's right. When we look around us, how much importance is given for love? At least what we call love. How much? Small, medium, or high? Very high. Okay. Look, like everyone, even it's quite interesting now if we look. People in the most difficult conditions, sick, economical problems, and so on, when they go talk about their difficulties and suffering, finally, what is it about? Relationship. Husband and wife, a relationship of family, and so on. But it's mostly very often something related with receiving or not receiving enough love, and so on. So, if you go to most psychologists, and you can ask most of psychologists, okay, if you make a percentage of the problems that arrive to you, that people bring to you, which category they are in? Relationships. Do we want to be loved? Yes. We like receiving attention, we like receiving love, we like to be desired by others. It doesn't need to be necessarily the relationship of a couple. It can be with friends, it can be with family, it can be in many contexts. But we really like to be loved. Really are somehow obsessed by it. Okay? We want to receive attention from others. Like, it's not so much different from when we see like an animal, like a dog or a cat. Have you ever seen very often, like when you have a dog and the dog wants attention? So clear, no? Just at least the dog doesn't make so many games. He's much very direct. Just go there and shows that he needs attention. We human beings, sometimes we do more games to find attention. And we try and find excuses and reasons. And finally, the only thing we want is to receive some love and some attention. Okay. But my theory is that we like so much receiving love because love is good. It's wonderful. But the best thing is not to receive love, is to feel love, is to love others. That's the best. And this is something that many of us, we don't understand. So we stay there the whole time complaining that we do not receive enough love, when actually we have everything in our hand. It's the matter of loving others. I'm not going to love you anymore because you don't love me enough. And who is losing at this? Myself. The point is that even in the Buddha's teachings, and from my small personal experience, nothing gives such a joy as actually opening our heart and loving others. Nothing. Nothing gives such a strength, energy, such as love. No? Love is not something that we can put truly into words. We can try in many ways. The definition of love is the wish that others may be happy. The wish for the happiness of others. That's the definition of love. But it's not something conceptual. It's something that we feel. It's opening our heart and deeply, as Shantideva puts in the Bodhisattva Charivatara, when we love others, we value the happiness of others as we value our own happiness. It's like putting it, your happiness is as much important as mine. Your suffering is as much important as mine. Love you. And the point is that I want to bring is that when we really open our heart and when we love others, we are happy. It brings so much joy. I remember one person that is a symbol for all of us, for many of us, which was Madre Teresa. When we met her with Rinpoche in 95 in India, you saw this little woman, curved. Her body was completely in a difficult state. But she was with such a light of joy. She emanated so much joy, so much love. That people would be happy just to be nearby her. And you could see that she was an extremely happy person. Out of what? Out of love. Let me look at Rinpoche. Does Rinpoche look like a sad person or a happy person? Happy person. Is it coming out of what? Having many material things and a lot of success and being constantly looking out for pleasures? I truly believe, from what I have seen, that the joy that comes from Rinpoche is from helping others, is from loving others. That's where it comes from. It's the verse from the Bodhisattva Charavatara. Also in the Guru Puja, we have the same verse. Someone give me the book of the Guru Puja in Italian. No. It is Italiano e inglese. In brief, verse number 93. Dorna chiba rando yon kona dan tubuan shende bashin zeba yikyonda yonde yewa topelo dashen nyamji nubar jingelo. In brief, infantile beings labor only for their own end. So infantile beings work only for their own benefit, while Buddhas work solely for the welfare of others, while Buddhas are dedicating themselves only for the benefit of others. With a mind understanding the distinctions between the failings of one and the advantages of the other, we seek your blessings to enable us to equalize and exchange ourselves for others, which means don't need to say much more. There is a point here. There is the same verse, little differently, the same meaning in the Bodhisattva Charavatara also, in which Shantideva says, don't need to say much more. Just look at the difference between a Buddha and an infantile being. Who is better? Who's better off? Okay, if we bring to our level here. Okay, we look at us and then we look, for example, at Rinpoche. Who is better? Rinpoche is better. He acts only for the benefit of others. We are only acting for our own. What works better? What's the main difference between us and a person like Rinpoche? We have 2 eyes, 1 mouth, 2 ears. We walk in the same way, our body. Materially, we have the same conditions. What's the difference? We put all our energy for the I and the my. We are always looking to things, trying to find my own happiness. And a person like Rinpoche is doing the opposite. His priority is taking care of others. And finally, who is better? Him. So, do we need much more to see that we need to change our behavior? To see that by benefiting others, we are the one that is the most benefited one? So, this is a change of paradigm. It's a change of direction that we need to put in our lives. Say, okay, selfishly speaking, it's better to be altruistic. And this is not a joke, it's not a game, mental game. But then what is our selfishness saying to us? Deep below, like in the book of Panchen, Losang, Gyaltsen, the discussion of wisdom and ignorance, Gyaltsen Shakti. Ignorance answers. Oh, but if you eliminate me, selfishness, who is going to take care of you? Who is going to think about your problem? How are you going to get food? Who is going to take care of you? Look at all these people around. Okay, you act for their benefit. Are they going to take care of you? No. So better you continue to be selfish. Otherwise, you help all of them and finally they give up on you. That's our stupid mind. To develop, open our hearts for others doesn't mean to give up on ourselves. Now, most of us, we live in a way which is in a dualistic way, in which when we are doing something for our own benefit, we feel guilty because we are doing something selfish. When we do something for the benefit of others, we feel that we are doing a sacrifice. We need to eliminate this and we need to equalize oneself with others, which means when I do something for others, I'm doing for myself. When I'm doing something for myself, I'm doing it for others. I make no more distinction, I make no more difference between oneself and others. Okay? We take the same example of Rinpoche. He's a person and he looks like he knows how to take care of himself or not? Very well. He's not there crying all day because he needs to help others and he cannot take care of him and nobody's doing anything. No. He's very well taking care of himself, perfectly. And he has everything he needs. Everything is wonderful for himself. And does Rinpoche ever look like he's guilty when he's doing something for his own benefit? Taking care of himself? Not at all. When he's doing something for someone else, does he look like feeling that it's a sacrifice that he's doing something for others? Not at all. And we are extremely fortunate to have a life example that works. So we can follow. We can say, okay, it's possible. But the main point of understanding here is that if we want to be happy, as I believe we do, the only way is by loving others. The only way is by truly opening our heart. And like doing it with the people that we don't know. Lama Tsongkhapa here put the example of the dog, which I don't think fits so well nowadays. Because in time that Lama Tsongkhapa said, if you're not able to develop love and compassion towards the dog, which is the front door of the house, how can you talk about all sentient beings? But nowadays, as Rinpoche said once, Westerners treat dogs as Tibetans treat tulkus. Okay? So it's like, take care, like giving the best care and so on. So there is even, other day I saw a short movie which were making making joke. And then there is the person that goes on the street and there is a little dog together with one homeless man. And then the guy goes, the lady goes there in front, there's the dog and the homeless man. And she said, oh no, how can a dog be left on the street all by itself? Nobody taking so much care of it. And does he have anything to eat? And the man said, no. How possible? I don't have, But he's sleeping outside here. He said, yes. And basically the fact is that the lady is so worried about the dog and is not caring at all about the man. No? So nowadays the dog is not the best example. Okay. Let's talk about the people that are around us. When we go to a restaurant, who do we have in front of us? A human being with all his sufferings and necessities and problems and so on, such as us, or we have a waiter. Function. How do we relate mostly? A function. We don't care about this person if he's suffering or not. I don't care if you have problems at home and if you are suffering, just bring my food in the way you're supposed to do. So, start by opening our hearts to people that we don't know. We go to the restaurant, look at the guy or the lady that is bringing you the food, and just think, I love you. Don't need to say, better not. Okay, just think, I love you. I deeply wish you to be happy. Your happiness is important for me, as is mine. And we start doing this with the people in the most normal way of our daily life. People that we meet around. People that normally we would not do it. Then slowly we can start opening our heart and we'll see that it's so nice. It brings so much pleasure and well-being for ourselves. And then we understand that the best thing is to love, not to be loved. It's also good to be loved, nothing against it. But really the best is to love others. And when we start opening our heart and really loving others without expecting nothing in change, like being true friends to others. No? It's like I was saying the other day. The word friend in Sanskrit is called mitra. Mitra is coming from the word in Sanskrit maitri, which means love. So who is a friend? The friend is the one that loves you independently of what you do, what you don't do, who you are not. I am your friend in the moment that I wish your happiness independent of anything. It's like this is another example that I have so clearly from Rinpoche, much before I knew this definition. Rinpoche and his attitude, what he's doing, I am your friend. If you want to be my friend or not, is your problem. I give you my friendship. If you give me your friendship or not, that's not my problem. I love you. If you love me or not, that's not my problem. I'm not loving you in order for you to love me. That's how we do, no? Very often. I love you. How possible you not to love me because I love you so much? I love you because I love you, and I'm happy to do it, and it brings me so much joy. It makes me so it's so good for me, and I think that's the best I can do for myself and others. So I love you. If you love me or not, that's not my problem in the sense that I cannot do anything about it. I'm sorry. The more we open our heart in this way, the better we will be, and the more strength we will have in our spiritual path. Because the result is what? I want to help others. But if I do not develop myself spiritually, if I do not develop my qualities, how can I help someone to stop getting angry if I myself am always getting angry? How can I help someone if I do not understand their mentality? If I am not able to get in touch with their mind and show them reality as I see it. So, I must develop my qualities. So love also becomes the most strong fuel that we have on our own path. Enlightenment. Love is said to be like water that is important in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. This is taught by Chandrakirti in the text about the commentary on Nagarjuna's text on the correct view of reality. And it's interesting because the text of Chandrakirti, which explains one of the most important texts explaining about the correct view of reality, it starts by making praise to great love and compassion. And it says the love that is like water, that is important in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. For example, when I plant a seed, the water is important for the seed to sprout. The water is important for the sprout to grow. So it's important in the moment of birth. It's not important, it's essential in the moment of birth of a plant, from the seed to the plant. It's essential in the moment of development until it becomes a big tree. And it's also thanks to water later then the tree can be alive and can give its fruits. Similar to that, our spiritual path starts with love. We start the truest path to enlightenment when we develop true love towards others. So love and compassion is the basis, what makes us to start our path. During our whole path to enlightenment, what is giving us the strength is love and compassion. And once we become enlightened, what is the strength behind us acting for the benefit of others? Love and compassion. The love and compassion is important, which is the same thing, two faces of the same thing. Love is important in the beginning, during the path, and in the end of the path. So, it's a quality that we need to develop it gradually, but it's most of all a matter of understanding that for me to be happy, first of all, as I am selfish now, let's use it at least for something positive. Selfishly speaking, I need to build heuristic. The more I love others, the more I will be happy. The more I am selfish, the more I will suffer. And if we look to most of our sufferings, where are they practically coming from? Our obsession with self-gratification. That's where they're coming from. It's so obvious that if we simply are able to value the happiness of others and the sufferings of others as we value ours, most of our suffering is gone. Here comes another point also, is that we need to develop love and compassion with wisdom. Otherwise, we can become quite frustrated. Okay? Wisdom means to understand and to respect reality as it is, to be coherent with reality, which means why things happen, because causes and conditions are created. And what is the only thing I can do to help you? I can love you like no one else may do. I love you completely and fully. What can I do to help you? The same that a Buddha. The same that anyone else. You can be here in front of me suffering a lot, as very sadly I see sometimes. I can love you completely, and I wish completely to help you. And then I call all the Buddhas to come here right now, and we are all together. We come a whole assembly of Buddhas and holy beings and all friends and everyone to help you. The only thing that we can do is interact with you in a positive way. I cannot do anything else. You cannot do anything. No one of us can do anything to help others other than interacting with that person in a positive way. Nothing more than that. So in the moment that we accept this, we feel less frustrated also. We respect the necessary timing and the interdependence that is there within for changes to happen. So love needs to go together with wisdom. Otherwise, we become frustrated. Okay, I think it's quite clear, no? Okay. Just to conclude, I will just touch quickly the next points. Okay. We need to develop at the same time qualities such as, once we need to meditate. What the text is bringing, Lama Tsongkhapa is bringing us, is that in order to have the realizations, we need to sit down and meditate. It's not a matter just of understanding all of this. And for that, we need to sit in the right position. We need to breathe correctly, bring our mind to a state of calm, and then we induce ourselves into positive states of consciousness, initially in an, let's call, artificial way, so that the states of consciousness can come in a natural and spontaneous way. So we will do this to rely correctly upon the Guru, to recognize the preciousness of this life, the certainty of death, impermanence, taking refuge, the law of karma. All of this is part of this process. Okay? But it's something that we will gradually cultivate within ourselves. None of these qualities will just come like this from one instant to the other. It's a process of sitting down, of reflecting, of meditating, and gradually this will become stronger and stronger within ourselves. And all of these qualities are very important. For example, recognizing the preciousness of life. It's essential. If we stop and we simply are able to see, if not 100% with clarity, at least even 20% of clarity of how precious this life is, we already stop complaining. And you say, I have no time to lose. I need to put energy into making this life, to make life meaningful. But it's too precious. It's too precious, the opportunity we have. It's too precious. But what happened? We very, very easily, we get familiarized with things. We take things for granted after some time. We think it's normal to be here in Albagnano with Rinpoche, doing the Dharma, and everything is normal. Okay. Too much in the gompa, I'm tired, let's go to look in the lake or whatever someone may think. There is a saying in the West, which is, we only know how to value things once we lose them. We shouldn't do that in our life. Because the opportunity we have right now, in all senses, is so special. So special. So, how to use it? Making this life meaningful. What does it mean to make this life meaningful? It means to help others and to develop our own quality. That's what we need to do. And that, for me, is priority number one in our life. Before any other thing, is to help others, to develop love, compassion, to develop ourselves. That's priority number one. All the other things, okay, I can have my friendship, my relationship, I have my family to take care, there is the job, there is the house, there is the clothes, there is the fashion, there is this, there is that, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Wonderful. Sure, we need to take care of our responsibilities of family and so on. But priority number one is to develop ourselves and to benefit others. That's priority number one. Because that's what this life gives me the possibility. To take care of what continues from life to life. To help something, to leave something for this world the day that I will die. That's priority number one. Okay? And we do this with joy. Because it's such a beautiful opportunity we have. So, we conclude here. I'm very happy that we could start with this text. Sure, we are going to have the opportunities to conclude with it. I would like just to request everyone, please, to continue reading it and taking it as one of the precious tools we have in our life to practice Dharma, which is the most beautiful thing that we have, the most beautiful thing that we can do. And remember, as Lama Tsongkhapa also said in the text, that we have the two moments during the session of meditation, in between sessions of meditation. We went to the part earlier on the text, and how we should behave in one and the other, and both of them are the same level of importance. So where is that? Where are we supposed to practice Dharma? In every word we say, in every thought we have, in every choice we make, every moment. That's where we should apply the teaching. That's where we should follow our path in life. Also when we sit down to meditate, that's very important. Both of them are necessary. But if we go in this way, then we are really able to gradually do one step after the other. And remembering, as one of my teachers, Gyaltsen, he told me once, he said, remember to be like an ant, not like a flea. Because the flea is making a big jumps, no? And the ant is making small steps, but never stops. So he's saying the ants always reach first. So we have no hurry in our path. As a conclusion, please everybody, we need to remember that we are the patient. Guru Buddha is the doctor. The Dharma is the medicine. Taking the medicine is the process of healing, is not keeping it on the cupboard. We have the potential to get cured. We have the potential of healing, and the process of healing is gradual and long. But it's okay. It's one step after the other with joy that we can actually really make a change. Okay? We will do the final dedication now. I'd like to thank very much everyone during all these days for being here, for listening with an open heart, an open mind. And then request everyone, please, we do our best to really make it meaningful by putting it to practice in the best of our own ability. Okay?
Gyaltsen Lama Kotse Raptenchi Namkar Chinle Cholchur Gepadang Losang Tempe Dreme Sasumgi Drove Munsel Tatu Negyurchi Imo dele tsendele nime kuyan dele Gyaltsen taktu dele pe kuncho sumki jingi lom Kuncho sumki ngodrup sol Kuncho sumki trashisho. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the rituals grant us their blessing. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness.